It can be a real pain in the ass.
He had a little bit to drink, and he ended up starting.
And Scrietta decided to lay a shoulder into me. Actually, it wasn't more like a shoulder, it was about 500 pounds of pure awesome.
So, Mr. Bowles, what was your first impression of Dan when he came from the JV team?
My first impression of Dan was mixed. I loved the way he swung the bat. He was actually big and powerful and fast, but on defense he had some shortcomings, no pun intended, and so I knew he was going to be a great offensive player. Whether or not he was going to be able to progress defensively, that worried me a little bit about it.
Do you think there's going to be any chance that Scrietta plays after his high school year in any other type of baseball?
You know, I think Scrietta could play baseball after high school if he desires. You know, I kind of know what his plans are, and I think he's going to go to school and focus a little bit more on school and other extracurricular activities maybe. But if he wanted to continue playing baseball after high school, he definitely could do it. He has the skills to keep playing.
So how is Dan doing in your class?
Dan's actually been a surprisingly good student in my class. You know, I know that he sometimes has a reputation as screwing around a lot, but he's been very diligent in turning in his work, turning in good work. He's been earning an A all year, and he cares a lot more about school than I think some people give him credit for. And he's been a great student. I think he'll do real well in college.
So do you see any similarities between him and his brother in the way they both play baseball?
Yeah, him and his brother actually have real similar styles in their aggressive nature on the baseball field. His brother was always bouncing off the walls out there and hustling everywhere and diving for balls and just a real aggressive player. And Dan's the same way. He's real aggressive. And, you know, you guys have seen him do other activities like boxing and other things. He's an aggressive athlete, and I think those two growing up together probably influenced each other a lot because they were similar in that way, and they both are strong. You know, neither one of them when they came here looked strong, but they're both naturally strong guys, and so they had, you know, similar physical attributes and you know, the physical toughness.
So, Greg, I hear that Scrietta gets a little out of control at baseball practice. Will you explain the incident when you guys were playing handball?
Well, yes, I can, Davis. It was around probably about 4 o'clock, in which we were playing a game of handball, and I jumped up to grab the ball, and Scrietta decided to lay a shoulder into me. Actually, it wasn't more like a shoulder, it was about 500 pounds of pure awesome. And in which then I was tackled to the ground, stomped on, and then brought back up. And I got a little overheated and didn't appreciate that one bit, but after focusing myself on Scrietta and realized that it was a complete accident, I realized that I couldn't have fought him and won anyway, so I just kind of like took that into consideration. Just kind of like brought myself back out.
Matt, how do you think Scrietta's bent arm affects his baseball abilities?
Well, to be honest with you, Davis, Scrietta's an excellent baseball player. But if he had a normal arm like the rest of us, you know, he can like make the great plays, like dive a little bit more, maybe run a little faster. I don't know, but he can still hit the ball pretty good. So I think he could just be a little bit better if his arm is normal.
Yeah. Now I'm here with number 21, Brett Bonet. Brett, you played baseball with Scrietta for the past 4 years. How do you think he's progressed as a baseball player?
Throughout the 4 years playing baseball with Dan Scrietta, we've become really close as friends. But sometimes he can be a real pain in the ass. But throughout those 4 years, he's become one of our fiercest hitters in the lineup, and that's what I like about him.
So Chris Wright, how many years have you played baseball with Dan Scrietta?
Me and Dan have played baseball for probably about 10 years together and against each other. I consider him a nemesis when we're not on the same team.
So people have told me Dan hasn't been so sober to some of the games. Is that true?
There was this one time Dan was supposed to start. He had a little bit to drink, and he ended up starting. And was kind of drunk, I want to say. The ball almost hit him, and tried to fight the pitcher. Cussed at him a little bit, and waggled his bat with his bent arm. It was pretty funny.
Matt, we all know you played baseball with Scrietta in Little League. Will you tell me how good of a player he was back in the day?
Well, he definitely wasn't as good as he is today. He was a lot weaker, you know.
I'm here interviewing Daniel Scrietta. I'm going to ask him a couple questions. Daniel, question 1. How do you think your varsity year in baseball went?
Well, I don't think I hit quite as well as my junior year because I felt a lot of pressure that I had to do too much. But beginning of the year, during non-league, I had a lot more strikeouts than I intended. Once league came around, I was my average went up a lot. I was hitting a lot of singles, but I didn't create the power that I wanted, and I didn't really capitalize on RBI situations.
Dan, you had a very weak defensive year in your junior year, and all you did was designated hit. How does one go from that to becoming a starter on offense and defense your varsity year?
My senior year, I knew a lot of our pitchers hit, so I wouldn't have the chance to just be a designated hitter, so I know I had to step it up. So over the offseason, I took a lot of ground balls in the outfield and stepped my game up, and I only had 2 errors all year this year.